Alright guys, today we're going to be making the tastiest chicken you're probably ever going to have in your lives. These are the spices that we are going to be using. First off, we have lemon pepper. If you don't know about the spice, you're really missing out. This is enormously important whenever you're doing anything out of chicken. Next, we got the Himalayan pink salt. For all of those that know about salt, this is super important. Very tasty, very healthy, a lot of minerals. Awesome stuff. Ground black pepper, garlic powder, red paprika, a splash of curry, very important, rosemary. If you got it fresh, just finely chop it. Otherwise, you can use that, that's fine. As you can see, mine is almost empty, which tells you how much I'm using it. We're going to be doing a dry rub. These are the chickens that we're going to be using. Big birds. They're my potatoes. I got somebody peeling it for me, so hang on. We'll also be using canola oil. Now, first we're going to do a dry rub, so let me start mix and matching. Let's see. I'm going to need, where's my little plate that I had here, which frankly enough disappeared. There we go. Now, alright, and we're back. So, as I was saying, lemon pepper. You want to be very generous with this. Very generous. Look at that. If you're asking me to estimate, most likely, let's say 3 tablespoons worth. Moving on to salt. Now, I don't like to just drop it in, I like to measure. There. They say a pinch, well this is a punch of salt. There we go. We don't want to put too much now, but a punch of salt. There we go. Yes, for those of you that are wondering, my hands are clean. Black pepper. Again. That's a little much. Yeah, there you go. About a teaspoon, let's say. About a teaspoon of black pepper. Garlic powder. Yeah, garlic powder is important. We can use about, let's see, what would this be? A good 1 full tablespoon. Moving on to paprika. Gives color, makes it look good, has nice benefits to it as well. You can't really go wrong with paprika. So I would say a good tablespoon's worth of paprika. Now curry powder, some health benefits in this one, gives a little bit of a taste to it. I go very light on curry powder, I don't put too much. There, maybe a half a teaspoon. I said a half a teaspoon. For those of you that think I said tablespoon, no. Don't like too much of that stuff in it. Rosemary. Well, I said I put a lot of rosemary. There. A little bit, a little more. There we go. What is that? That's approximately, I would say, a full tablespoon. Remember, we're making a dry rub, so we're just going to be mixing all this. I like to do this in this little bowl. Mix it well. Sure, you can buy dry rubs that they sell in the store. Fish, chicken, whatever. I like to make my own. There we go. Mix it in there. There we are. mixed in. Especially the paprika, make sure you break it down. I don't like to see big clumps in there. There. Remember, that's the dry rub. What are we gonna use this dry rub for? No, it's not for just one chicken, in case you're wondering, because this would be too much. We're gonna use it for, let me orient you, to 2 of these big chickens. In case you're wondering how big these chickens are, almost 5 pounds each. So we're not playing around. And I have I'll use about 10 to 12 pounds of potatoes, about 5 to 6 pounds with each chicken, in case you're wondering. So this dry rub that I've made will be used for all that. Now, before I'm going to apply the dry rub onto the chicken and the potatoes, I'm going to coat the chicken and the potatoes in this canola oil. You can use any oil you like. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use canola oil. You can use vegetable, you can use olive, you can use coconut, whatever's your poison. Doesn't matter. So that's what I'm going to be using. Alright. We'll touch bases again once we're ready to move to the next step. So. Alright guys, we're back. Here's a little secret that not a lot of people know, and I only recently started doing this. Apples go great with baking potatoes with this baked chicken meal. Alright, so I'm gonna wash them, peel them, I'm gonna dice them in about a centimeter cubes. They're basically going to dissolve in the pot. I'm gonna put them all the way on the bottom. You're really not gonna even taste the apple, but it's gonna give you a nice baked, grilled aroma along with the potatoes. It's gonna make your potatoes more succulent. So don't knock it till you try it. Alright guys, we're back. These are the potatoes that we peeled so far. Remember, if you don't want them to brown, add some water. It helps to preserve the potato until you're ready to slice and dice. So we're just going to add some water, not to mention it also is washing away and cleaning the potato. Super important. There. We added some water.
Should I put more in?
Alright, be back. Remember guys, cooking is supposed to be fun. By the way, my wife made that today. Awesome. It's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be enjoyable and creative. It's not supposed to be a task that you just want to get through. This is an expression of your creativity. Alright? So take the time and enjoy to cook just like you enjoy to eat what you cook. Put the phones down, stop ordering, and start cooking. You control the whole process. It tastes good, you know exactly what you're putting, and that's right. You'll get thumbs up from your kids or significant others. Yes, thank you. Alright, get back to you soon. Alright guys, I'm about to start working on the chicken. Now, I don't know what it is, but whenever you're dealing with kosher chicken, it always comes out looking hairy. Alright? Nobody wants hair on their chicken. Or hairy chicken for that matter. Or feathery chicken. Let me be more exact. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some time and I'm going to have to clean those birds. So what do I have here? Well, I have a little pot or a bowl. Let's put it like this. I'm gonna add some water into it. There we go. See? Water. Great. And I'm gonna start removing all the little feathers from the chicken. Because I would hate to bite into a nice, luscious, delicious piece of chicken and be picking out my teeth, if you know what I mean. Get back to you soon. Alright guys, as you can see, we're defeathering the chicken. It's like anything else in life. You gotta take your time. Kind of reminds me of foreplay. You don't want to rush into it. You want to take your time and clean all the feathers off as much as you can tolerate. And believe you me, there's always going to be feathers left. So it's really up to you for how long you can tolerate to do this. And the answer why do kosher chickens have so many feathers, in case somebody's wondering in the background, well, because the way it's being cleaned or defeathered is different than the way non-kosher chicken is being cleaned. And so they don't use hot water to do it, which makes the cleaning process so much easier. You have to do it under cold water. And with cold water, unfortunately, these are the kind of results that we as Jews have to tolerate. Not only do they make our chicken more expensive, but at the same time, we get a product that we then have to go to work on. No, I'm not going to say inferior. It is a more superior product, in case you're wondering why are we doing it. But we have to take the time, take the love, put it into the food that we're making. So it takes time. I've been working on this so far for about, I don't know, I would have to say 10 minutes. There's still plenty in here. Remember, I still got another one to do, so I'm not going to get it super clean, but I am trying. Alright, so there you go. So you can see what I'm doing so far while the potatoes are still being peeled. Alright, over and out. Alright guys, you're in luck. Fresh rosemary. Look at that. Smell it. Ah, beautiful smell, beautiful smell. So what do? We take the little, I don't know what to call these, rosemary petals, I suppose. Alright. We don't use the stick. We take it off the stick. I already took one apart. Now I'm doing the second one. That should be enough. There we go. No, and we're not just going to throw it in there. I'm going to finally chop this. This is in addition to the rosemary that I already have for my dry rub, as you can see, right there. So I was looking in the refrigerator and I found it. So I said, why not? Rosemary is key, like I said in the beginning. Alright, talk to you in a bit. Alright guys, as promised, we're giving this a fine chop. You see what I'm doing? The way I'm holding the knife? I'm just rocking it back and forth. Cutting this down to size. You don't want big pieces like this in your mouth. In case you're wondering, yes, I'm a dad and that's my baby in the background. Alright, just like most of you, I assume. Anyways, we're giving it a fine chop, as you can see. Doesn't have to be perfect. Right. Our chopped rosemary going into our dry rub. There it goes. Let's get all that in there. It's packed with flavor and essential oils. Like I told you before, a lot of health benefits in these. So don't be shy. God knows, these days we can all improve our immune system one way or another. Plus it gives a very special smell. The aroma is intoxicating. There, we'll rub it in. In case you're wondering how much was that, maybe a big tablespoon. Let's put it like that. We'll just rub it in there. There it goes. Okay guys, so currently this is what we have. As you see, there's some apples, potatoes finally being cleaned and peeled. I must have spent about 45 minutes on those chickens, defeathering them. So now's the time to cut the potatoes. We're gonna cut them into chunks like that for your visual pleasure. There they go. If you're asking me to approximate, it's about inch and a half pieces. The lovely wife was kind enough to finish up with the potatoes, the peeling process. And now we're going to slice and dice. Well, more like the dice part. For all you females out there who think men don't spend time in the kitchen, well, as you can see, we do. At least some of us anyways. There we go. This is obviously going to take me some time, so I'm going to visit you in a bit. Alright guys, as promised, as you can see, we're cutting the apple into smaller pieces. Alright. There's quite a few apples here. If you got the room, why not? Drop them in. More nutrition. The potatoes already been cut. They are right next to them. Right there. And now we're working on the apples. There we are. So we want to like pieces looking something like that. Like I told you previously, about 1 centimeter cubed. Alright, be back. Alright guys, and we're back. The apples are chopped. There we go. I think about 5, 6, maybe even 7 of them in there. Okay, you guys are in for a treat. This is rice. We got 2 bunches of parsley and about a bunch of scallions. We're talking about maybe 5 scallions, something like that. We're going to do a stuffing with the rice, the scallions, inside the chicken that we're going to be baking. For our spices, we have cumin, very good spice. There we go. We're also going to use black pepper, excellent, and the Himalayan salt. How can we forget, right? The Himalayan salt. Okay, very popular these days. Anyways, here we go. So let's put some cumin, measure it out by eye in case you're wondering how much. I would say a teaspoon. 3/4 of a teaspoon, how about that? About 3/4 of a teaspoon. Black pepper, thank you very much, we don't need too much, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. By the way, in case you're wondering how much rice are we using, it's a cup of rice. Alright, for both of these chickens, about a cup of rice. Salt, we're not going to do a punch this time, less. I would say again, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We have our parsley and scallions. We're just going to add it in. Yes, the rice has been pre-washed. Okay. For those of you who were wondering why am I working in gloves, well, number one, I was handling chicken before, and I knew I was going to get to this part eventually, where I'm going to be mixing all that stuff in, so I kept the gloves on. Normally, obviously, gloves are not necessary. We're not working in a restaurant here. This is all home love. There we go. Let's mix it in. Yes, this is a variation of borscht. For those of you who are not Bulgarians, it's they also call it green plov. The only difference is they're not really adding any meat to this thing. So there we go. We added all these ingredients. We gave them a mix. Now we're gonna take that off. My lovely assistant, if you can get that bottle of oil right there, we'll pour some oil in here. You don't need much. I'll let you know when to stop. Pour it in. Keep going, yeah, start. Yeah, go, 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 go. That's good. So we're gonna mix in some oil. Otherwise your rice may come out a bit too dry and not as tasty. By the way, for those that don't know, fat gives flavor and makes it taste so much better. Alright, there we go. We mixed it. I'm just going to wash my hands. Alright guys, as promised, there we go. We're going to be adding our oil. So we're going to give it a splash of oil. Divide the potatoes, because there's just too many of them. By the way, we'll be using it for our chicken as well, so we'll put it on the chicken. On the chicken. There we go. So, now, we're going to mix the potatoes, so I like to give them a toss. There. Let's do it here. I know what you're thinking. I have a lot of practice tossing. Okay, so we're using our dry rub. We're going to be putting it on our potatoes. There we go. And here as well, we don't forget about you. Let's give it another more tossing. The more you toss, the more it covers evenly. So don't be shy. Toss away. See what I mean? Now, isn't that beautiful? Alright, take two. Alright. So, we toast that as well. Excellent. So, what do we do now? Chicken number one. So, we put oil. We're going to massage the oil all around the chicken. Make sure you coat it all in oil. You don't need a lot of oil because there's going to be oil in the potatoes, natural fat from the chicken itself. So just coat it with oil. There we go. You're done. Good. Alright, so we're back. My lovely assistant is going to be putting some herbs on the chicken. There we go. All these spices, the dry rub. You want to work your fingers all around. Try to coat the chicken as evenly as you can. There we go. Massage it. Let's put it on some on this side. This chicken is gonna be popping with flavor. Come on, let's drop some in there as well. There we go. Work it in there. Chicken likes to be massaged. Alright. Some in there as well. Good. Alright, so this bird is coated pretty well, as you can see. Okay, that's bird number 1. Let's get to bird number 2. Same easy. Again, what do? First, we make sure, stop, that there's oil coating the chicken. Coat the chicken in oil, the little splash that we put in. There we go. Get it all in there. There we go. Good. Now let's add the spices. Alright. Just like before. Let's work it in there. Yes, let's add the rest of the spices. So the amount of spices that we've prepared are actually perfect for what we are doing, because many times the spice would be left over, and guess what? I'll use it for next time. But this time around, everything we prepared is basically being used up. Excellent. There we go. Get it all in there. Massage the chicken. All the spices, all in there. Excellent. Now you tell me, isn't this a happy bird? Okay, so what's our next step? We're gonna take one bird, set it there for now. We're going back to the apples. Our base is gonna be covered with apples. Try to get it even. There we go. We're gonna throw some potatoes in there as well. Create some base. There we go. Where's our lovely bird? There we go. We'll put the bird and the available Alright. Look at that. The bird is telling us something. It's saying, where's my stuffing? So, let's not forget the stuffing. And do exactly as we are saying. Just add it in there. Push it in. There we go. It's a big bird. Can accommodate a lot. There it goes. Yeah, let's put a little more in there. Good. There we are. I'm gonna flip our bird. There it is. Okay. Now, okay, so in the space that still exists, we're going to stuff the potatoes in there. In fact, we're going to add potatoes in all the remaining places that are still available for us to add. There we go. Alright. There we go. Thank you to the wonderful assistant.
You're welcome.
Yes, get those juices out. Oh, look at that. If that don't look delicious, then you've been ordering too much. You gotta get in the kitchen and you gotta start cooking. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Enough to feed an army. But guess what? I don't just have one army to feed, I got two. Alright, for those of you that have been or have not been paying attention, lucky for you, we're gonna do it again. So, what do? Let's leave this one supporting the other chicken, because it knows it's gonna go in the oven. Again, we're gonna drop the remaining potatoes, create a base. There we go. We're gonna grab the potatoes, in they go. Let's get more potatoes. Alright, we've created that base. Let's leave them. Grab our chicken. Come here. get our stuffing. Yes, you don't have to use your hands, you can use a spoon if you like, but I find it much easier just to use your hands. There we go. Get all that in there. As you can see, none of this is really complicated. It's just having an imagination. Now, let's stuff more potatoes right into the bird's cavity. There we go. Just get it in there. We're going to keep the steam for the rice in there so it can continue cooking. Turn our bird. Flatten it a bit. The remaining potatoes going all around. There we go. All around. There we go. Alright. Let's drop some more in here. Good. There we go. Let's put the oil and the juice on top. Beautiful. So, what do we have? We have twins. There we go. Now, very important, always keep your station clean. Alright. Now, my kitchen is not enormous, but it gives you no excuse not to keep the kitchen clean, or your workstation for that matter. So there we go. Now, doesn't that look beautiful and tasty all at the same time? I know you're drooling, but not yet, because it hasn't cooked yet. So what are we gonna do now? These gloves finally can come off. There we go. Hands are nice and clean. Let's get rid of them. And we're going to put a cover on it. Make sure whatever pot you're going to use is safe to put in the oven. No plastic, all metal. This is a duplicate, same deal. So what do we do now? We're going to start the oven. Okay, so we're going to put our oven to bake. 350 is usually what's used, but we have so much going on in there, so we're going to push it up to 400. The oven is going to preheat. Once it's preheated, it's going to take about maybe 5 minutes. The process should take about 2 hours for it to cook. Alright? Check on it in about an hour and a half to see how it's doing. What is supposed to be ready? Well, chicken, mainly. The potatoes are going to be ready, that's not a problem. The lid is going to stay closed throughout the remainder of the cooking time. The rice, that's the one that usually takes the longest amount of time to cook, believe it or not. Because of the rice, it usually takes about 2 hours. You can check on the rice, or you can just cook it for 2 hours and leave it alone. Let it rest, because it will continue to cook in there as it's cooling. Once it's cooled a little bit, let's say 10 minutes or so, you can check on the rice. If you find that the rice still isn't completely cooked, guess what? Pop it back in the oven. Give it another 20 minutes. By that time it should be done. Alright, so let's go ahead and put in the oven. I'm going to be putting them both at the same time, which also takes longer time to cook. So it may take me actually a bit longer than 2 hours. Maybe 2.5, it may take even 3, because I'm putting both of them at the same time. But normally if you're just doing one, like I showed you, a 5-pound bird with about 5 pounds of potatoes with stuffing inside, 400 degrees, should take you about 2 hours. Alright, we'll check on it a bit later on. The chicken to the promised place, and that is the oven. In case you're wondering where in the oven I'm putting it, it's all the way on the top. There we go. You could put it in the middle, it's fine. It just, my shelf is positioned on the top and I'm too lazy to move it, so it's just gonna stay on the top. Alright, the time is that, about 1:30 now. So we're going to program it for about 2 hours. There we go. Alright guys, it's been exactly 2 hours. Both the chickens are out. I'm about to see if they are ready or not. Inside we can see that the chicken has to be ready just from the look of it. You're gonna see a lot of steam rise right now. There it goes. We can see that the meat is pulling off the bone. The only question is if the rice is ready. So I'm going to move some of the potatoes around. There we go. Let's get some room into the rice. You can see that this potato is not cooked yet.
What is this?
It's not ready.
This potato is not either.
Chicken and
As
potato.
far as the rice go,
No, it's not.
the rice does look a bit raw at this point. It needs more time. That's what I was telling you before. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna cover it with some of the potatoes that are already ready. The other ones that I just took out, let them continue cooking. There they go. Alright, and so like I told you before, I'm gonna pop it in for another 20 minutes. We'll check on it in about 20 minutes. Over and out. The rice is finally ready. So it took 3 hours at a temperature of 400 to cook both of these portions at the same time. Enjoy guys. This whole process of cooking and preparing took roughly 4.5 hours, so it's not a quick thing. Anyways, this would be one of the best chickens you're ever going to taste, as I told you before. And if you guys want me to do another video, I will consider making another one when we reach 50 subscribers and at least 25 likes on this video alone. Alright, enjoy, bye bye.